Hey, everybody, you're about to discover how society programs people to be poor and the tricky mind games they're playing on you to keep you dependent on a paycheck that keeps most people from ever living the lifestyle of their dreams.
A salary is the drug they give you when they want you to forget about your dreams.
Huddle up, team. We are John and Tara Thorman, the money coaches, and we're on a mission here at Financial Success Coach to help you improve your relationship with money and with your spouse so you can achieve financial success and live the life of your dreams. So be sure to crush that like button.
That's right.
And subscribe to our channel and help us grow so we can help more people.
Now, what if everything you believe to be true about money and wealth and success was only partly true? Yeah, what would you want to know about it? Would you want to know what the truth was, where the bad thinking or the bad philosophies were? I want to encourage you today to challenge some of your beliefs. Question, what do you believe and why do you believe it? Okay? There's room for improvement in your personal finances, and we're going to discover it today. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Put me in, coach.
Woo-hoo.
Ready to play.
All right. Awesome. Well, let's get started with a few facts, all right? Society programs us all in a variety of ways that we aren't even aware of. And most people have been programmed and conditioned to be broke, indebted, enslaved, dependent, misinformed, sick, and fearful. Everyone has some or even all of these poor programs running in their subconscious mind, so they're really not aware of it.
Wow, that is kind of crazy to think about all that has been programmed. How is this affecting you and your spouse? Which of these programs do you feel are controlling your life?
Yeah, great questions to ask yourself and your spouse, right? Because we're not aware of the poor programming that's there because it's running automatically in your subconscious, okay? And it influences all of your beliefs, your thoughts, and your behaviors about money, wealth, and financial success.
Yeah, so we can all upgrade our programming. It's true. It's kind of like downloading a new operating system for your smartphone.
Right. Our programming is updated and upgraded by getting new influences and information, by reading good books, listening to good podcasts, and of course, watching awesomely amazing, wonderful videos like this one, right?
That's right.
But through that influence, through the content, through the information, is how we upgrade our programming and improve our lives. It's everyone's responsibility to update their poor programming with the latest version of peak performance programming. No one else is going to do it for you. You got to take this on yourself. Now, you want to upgrade from that poor programming because that is only designed to play finite money games, okay? And peak performance programming does it all. It does the finite money games, but it also does the infinite wealth games.
That's right. Money and wealth are two distinctly different mind games that are played simultaneously, whether you are aware of it or not. We will explain them in a moment, but first, you need to understand how and why you have been programmed.
Yeah, that's a great point. So here's why society programs people this way, okay? If you're broke, indebted, enslaved, dependent, misinformed, sick, and fearful, you are way easier to control and manipulate than all the people that aren't, okay? Your programming really prepares you to serve the purposes of the wealthy and the elite as their wage slaves or employees. But also, so you become the interest-paying slaves of the banks, credit cards, student loan, and mortgage companies. You probably aren't aware of this, but you likely spend over half of your income on taxes and interest before you get to enjoy spending any of that money on yourself. Think about that for a minute. Over half your money out the window in taxes and interest payments. You work hard, you slave away at work week in and week out for the government and the financial institutions, only to see a fraction of that money for yourself.
So if you desire to have financial freedom and gain your independence from a job and a paycheck at some point in your life, then you must upgrade your programming.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Okay, so here's how you've been programmed without you even being aware of it. Your programming started with your earliest influences, which are, of course, your family and your friends. Then the programming continued with education, with religion, government, media, entertainment, sports, corporations, the workplace, and of course, all your personal life experiences. That all together is what's been programming you.
And we want you to understand that the whole financial system is designed to defend the system.
That's right. As a result, it takes intentional effort to break free from the grip of the system and upgrading your programming and learning how it works.
But it is so worth it.
Since the system programs people to be good employees and serve the wealthy and the elites, you don't get trained, educated, and coached on how to create wealth for yourself. That's what we're here for, okay? We're going to help you do that. You don't learn these rules of the finite money games that you can play to help you win, nor do you learn how to play the infinite wealth game to keep playing and change the trajectory of your family for generations to come.
So the good news, you can change your programming and you can change your life.
That's right. Out with the old programming and in with the new. If you want transformation in your life, you must begin by being honest with yourself and then intentionally beginning the continuous process of renewing your mind.
That's right. Like the Bible says, Romans 12:2, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
That's right. When we renew our mind, we improve our thinking, feeling, and behaviors that enable us to become wealthy, free, well-informed, healthy, and courageous so we can live our best life.
So let's explain the difference between the money games and the wealth game.
Okay, so there are two types of financial games to play, right? Finite and infinite. The finite games, you play them to win. There is a winner and a loser. The money games, they've got a beginning, a middle, and an end. The players are known, and the rules are established and agreed ahead of time. This is competitive. This is you going out there to crush your competitor, to beat them, right? And to win. Finite games are seen in sports, right? Like football is a finite game. There's two teams, known players, defined rules, and there's a start, middle, and an end. And the way it works is the team at the end of the allotted time with the most amount of points wins. And everybody knows that. So just like a football game, money is a finite game. You compete to earn a certain amount of money in a certain period of time under certain defined rules and people agree to. There's a winner and there's losers within the specified time periods of the game. Okay? Like a calendar year because we have to pay taxes on the income in that year, right? Now, infinite games are different. They aren't played to win. They're played in order to keep playing. It's for the enjoyment of the game. It's to perpetuate the game. You play the game as long as you have the will and the resources to continue playing. When you can't continue playing, then you exit the game. But the game continues on without you. Just like life is an infinite game, because there's been people living before you, there'll be people living after you. It's an infinite game, even though your life is finite. So you can have all kinds of finite games playing inside the context of your infinite game. So while football is a finite game, the game of football is played infinitely because you have a league and there's always going to be new players. There's always going to be new teams coming and going. So that's the same thing with our financial life. Now your marriage to your partner is finite, but the institution of marriage is infinite, right? Nobody wins marriage, right? That's why it's an infinite game. Now, wealth is an infinite game because there's no end. The game continues through your children and the generations after you. Nobody wins wealth, right? Just like nobody wins life or wins marriage, but wealth was created out of nothing in gold and silver and the natural reproduction of plants and animals. You can build wealth through reproduction, right? Wealth can still be created today out of nothing by providing value. Wealth is spiritual and infinite, and wealth is the overall context within which all the finite money games are played. Wealth is not played to win. Remember that. Wealth is played to continue playing the game.
So it's important to know which game you are playing so you can play it correctly.
That's right. Everybody knows about the money game. They may not know the rules or really what they're doing, but they understand the finite money game and playing to get money, playing to win and beat out somebody else for a raise, for a promotion, for that contract, for that sale. But few people know how to play the game, and fewer still understand that it's played, that the money game they're playing is within the context of the wealth game. It's also important to understand that the wealth game, what it is and how to play it too.
So explain your formula for wealth, honey, to help everyone understand how to play this game better.
Yeah, I want to really concentrate on this today because most people have got no concept of the wealth game and how this works. So let's dig into it a little bit, all right? I've got the formula. Wealth equals assets times freedom times fitness, all to the power of G. So let's break this down a little bit, okay? What are assets? Assets is another formula. Assets come from multiplying your mindset by your skill set and multiply that by your tool set, okay? And assets produce recurring income. They produce recurring cash flow so that you don't need to have an active income source anymore. You don't have to show up at your job to get paid. These assets, if designed properly, will produce recurring cash flow, okay? Now let's look at each of these elements individually. Mindset is developed by abundance and a growth mindset, okay? As opposed to a scarcity and a fixed mindset. It's mindset is knowing whether you're playing a finite game or an infinite game, right? And knowing the difference between them. The mindset we want is it's progress over perfection, and it's adaptability and resiliency rather than being rigid and fragile, okay? So those are the mindset pieces, elements that we've got to come to this asset with. Now, the next part is skill set. Skill set is your creativity, your communication, your problem solving, leadership and team building, networking, persuasion, negotiation, and interpreting financial statements. And the great thing about skill set is these are all learnable skills, right? And you get better at them the more you practice them, right? Then the final piece to look at here is tool set. What are the tools that you need that will give you leverage and help you accumulate wealth? Well, we've got cash and liquid assets. Those are tools in your arsenal, okay? Then we've got people resources. We've got natural resources, physical resources. We want to have good credit. We want to have leverage. And we want to use power tools and not ancient, outdated, hand tools when it comes to your personal finances, okay? We want to use the right technology, apps, and software, and we want to have good, trusting relationships with our A-team. And your A-team are your agents and advisors, accountants and attorneys, and bankers, right? So we take all of this mindset, skill set, tool set, those form our assets, okay? And then we multiply those assets by freedom. And there's 4 kinds of freedom that you want in your life. You want freedom of time, right? That's one of the best first things you can start to do when you have money is start buying your time back. That's why we want money. We want freedom of money. We want to be able to earn as much as we want and be able to spend it where we want and have that freedom to enjoy the money we make. We want to have freedom of relationships, the quality time and the quantity time with those that we love. If we don't have that freedom, it's not much joy in living, right? And then the other freedom we want is freedom of purpose. We want to be able to express our talents and our giftings and the things that we're passionate about to make a difference and to contribute, right? To make an impact. All of those are the 4 key freedoms that you want to have to help you with your overall wealth and lifestyle, right? Then let's talk about fitness, because if you don't have fitness, you can't enjoy any of it either, right? So what are the 4 elements of fitness, baby?
I'm sorry, physical, mental, spiritual, and financial.
That's right. You want to be healthy and fit in each of these areas. Physically fit, right? If you don't have your health, there's no wealth. Mentally fit, the same thing. If you're not mentally strong and healthy, you can't enjoy money or wealth. So you've got to put time and effort and money into improving physical fitness and mental fitness. Same with your spiritual fitness. We can't neglect that. We can't leave that undone. And then lastly, financial fitness. Just being in control of your money and paying your bills on time and putting, optimizing your cash flow and doing smart things with your money, that fitness financially is very important. So we take all these things, your assets, okay, your freedom and your fitness, and we multiply them together. And then that gets multiplied by the exponential power of G, which is God, right? He is in control and he gets the final word. So let's take a look at a few verses that will reinforce this, what we've just gone over.
Right. Deuteronomy 8:18. But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth and so confirms his covenant, which he swore to your ancestors as it is today.
I love that one so much, right? He gives us the ability to produce wealth and create wealth, depending on the version. I love it. What's another one?
Proverbs 10:22. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it.
That's why it's to the power of G, that exponential growth factor, right? Because God can bring wealth without painful toil for it. Okay.
Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous.
That's pretty powerful, right? This goes to the long term, right? This goes to the infinite mindedness of wealth.
Right.
Because this is a long-term perspective. It's not just a short-term, self-centered, finite game where it's all about you. Now this is the long-term, infinite mindedness because it's a wealth game to honor your parents and ancestors, but also to set up your children and grandchildren and the generations coming after you. And what is wealth? And I love this verse.
Proverbs 19:14. A house and wealth are inherited from fathers, but a sensible wife is from the Lord.
So the previous verse said a good man leaves an inheritance for their children's children, right? Which means there's enough left over, and they're intentional. They are leaving it, so they have this being intentional. They are not blowing it on themselves.
Correct.
They've had enough to set up their kids, and there's stuff left over for their grandchildren, right? But what is the inheritance? A lot of people want to spiritualize this and say, oh, it's knowing the Lord, or it's being having good morals and character and all this kind of stuff. But Proverbs 19:14 says, a house and wealth are inherited from fathers. So it's those things, but it's also real, tangible assets. It's physical wealth as well. I mean, it's having a house and wealth, which could be, a business, systems in place, ways that are producing recurring, predictable revenue.
So good.
Right? Okay. So, guys, wealth, we need to get our minds wrapped around this and get a better understanding. We're playing the wealth game. We're all in it. We got to play it better and play the money games inside of it. But we got to change our focus. Too much of financial advice is selfish, self-centered, and short-sighted. And we're leaving our seniors exposed to tremendous, enormous financial risks that are going to wipe them out, and then they're not going to have anything left over to leave their children and grandchildren. We got to change our perspective here, especially with medical advances. People are living way longer, but their healthcare costs and stuff are going through the roof. So wealth is an infinite game that you get to play, right? As long as you have the will and the resources to continue. But the wealth game never ends, right? This is infinite. It's played to honor your parents and ancestors and to set up your kids and grandkids, right? Within the infinite game of wealth, you're able to play as many different finite money games as you want to, okay? So have some fun. Go compete. Make some money. Feel, get that thrill of victory. I love it. So both require ongoing training, learning, and coaching. We're never done. There's a constant improvement process for both money, finite games, and wealth, infinite games. So we're excited to be on this journey with you and continue our learning and our training and understanding and being coached up so we can be better managers of our money and our wealth. So we hope you found value in this today. If you got some questions, drop them below. Let's engage in conversation. We can talk some more about it. You can always schedule a one-on-one talk to see about getting some personalized coaching for you and your spouse and your family. And we're happy to help out and see if you're a great candidate, a good fit for us to work together with you. But have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you on the next video.